Real-world computer programming for kids of all ages. Step 48. Researching some data and populating the relational tables with it. Jetzt ist es an der Zeit, Oh, sorry, I thought you were German for a second there. What we need to do now is to populate the tables we created in DBWB with some actual data. While searching for the data, we will need to populate the tables. I realized that I had forgotten one piece of data that is definitely needed: the year the movie was released. After all, I want to make this data filterable on several criteria that matter to people, one of which is when the movie was made. Some people don't like old movies. Some people only want to watch old movies. And of course, a person's definition of what an old movie is differs from person to person. So I added another column to the movies _main table, year released, with a data type of year. What people want to know typically when they want to filter a list of movies so as to show only the ones that they might be interested in is the following: who's in it, which actors appear in the movie, what type of movie is it? In other words, is it a comedy, action, drama, documentary, or what? What did viewers think of it? In other words, what is it rated on a scale going, in the case of IMDb, up to 10? What is its MPAA rating? Is it G, PG, PG-13? And again, when was it made? Within which range of years was the movie made? Later, when we get into the web stuff and create a website, we will get into populating the movie tables in a big way, and in a different and much more elegant way. But for now, I'm just adding the data for a few movies, 21 to be precise, by simply searching for them on the IMDb website and hand populating a CSV file with the pertinent information. Once we've got the CSV file, we will populate the database tables in a similar way to how we did that before, but this time getting the ancillary or helper tables involved too, that is, the lookup tables and the many-to-many tables. Actually, instead of a literal CSV, separated values file, this time we will use a semicolon separated file. Why the change? Because some of the movie titles may have commas in them, and I don't want to have to omit any part of a title in order to get the code to work correctly. So the SCSV, semicolon, separated values, will have this structure: title, MPAA rating, IMDb rating, movie length, year released, director, screenwriter, genre 1, genre 2, genre 3, actor 1, actor 2, actor 3. You see that the data in this test set is going to be limited. For example, it can accommodate only up to 3 actors, and also contain empty fields at times, as not all movies have more than 2 or even more than 1 genres attached to them. But even so, I've got 3 slots for genre. This perhaps shows you why it is necessary, or at least very much preferred, to have relational tables in our database. The structure of this SCSV file is clunky and only suitable for quick and dirty testing like this. After doing the dirty work, searching and noting the various bits of data needed, here is the SCSV file containing the key data for 21 movies. And it shows all the data that's going into the SCSV file. The movies are The Princess Bride, Life of Pi, Wajda, The King of Comedy, The Wizard of Oz, The Majestic, Emma, Bang the Drum Slowly, Little Women, the 2019 version, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, The Art of Racing in the Rain, Paper Moon, The Biggest Little Farm, A Dog's Purpose, We Are Marshall, Joyo Noel, Forrest Gump, Winged Migration, Hoosiers, The Goonies, and last but not least, The Sandlot. Save that content as flicks.csv to whatever location on your hard drive makes sense to you. Even though it's not a true CSV file, CSV is still a sensible extension for the file. as that allows you to open the file in a spreadsheet app, such as Microsoft Excel, and with a little guidance from you, be able to display its contents properly. Note, it turns out that, in this case, I exercised more caution than I needed to when I opted to make it a semicolon delimited file rather than a comma delimited file, in the event that using commas as the delimiter between the values would step on the toes, so to speak, of one of the movie titles. Yes, that ended up being an overcautious move on my part, for, alas, there are no movies among the 21 chosen with commas in their titles. So sometimes you code defensively, and it turns out you didn't need to after all. But it also didn't hurt anything. We will just split the lines on semicolon instead of comma in the parsing code. No big deal. Populate the data tables with the sample data. Now we will read and parse the CSV file and populate the various movies star tables with it. Note, by movie star tables, I mean all of the tables in the movies database. The main table, the lookup tables, and the many-to-many tables. First, start a new C# Windows Forms project in Visual Studio. You probably know the drill by now, but by way of a concise reminder, here are the steps to take. 0. In Visual Studio, select Create New Project or File, New Project. Then choose Windows Forms App. .NET Framework, as shown here, and the screenshot is shown of what you should select. 1. Click the Next button. 2. Name the project Populate Movie Data, or something else if you prefer that. 3. Select the Create button. 4. Change the Forms text property, what appears on the title bar, if you want to. 5. Change the value of the form's start position property from Windows default location to center screen. You don't have to do this, but I find it much preferable for the form to display in the center of the screen rather than in a seemingly random off-center location when you run the app. I subscribe to the broken Windows theory, not Windows as in Microsoft Windows, but literal Windows. When Windows get broken in a neighborhood, nothing's done about it, things tend to deteriorate. So just having a form show up in an off-center place seems sloppy to me, looks bad, and it might tend to make it easy to take shortcuts in other areas too. 6. Drag and drop a button from the toolbox to the form, naming it Button Populate Movie Data, and giving it a text value of Populate Movie Data. You will probably need, or at least want, to resize the button, making it larger too, both wider and taller. That's up to you, though, if you don't mind puny buttons. 7. Double-click the button to open its Click Event Handler in the code window. We will now open the file, read it, parse it, and populate its contents into the various database tables. I will show the code we need in order to do that, and then explain it piece by piece after that. If we were to get into that now, though, we would go overtime, or overspace, as there is a limit to how long a newsletter can be, as it's going to take a while to go through it. So we will let you out of class early today. Just one more tip or reminder, though, before you go. Note, remember that you will have to install the MySQL package in Visual Studio in order to work with the MySQL database. Right-click the problem area. The compiler will complain about not having been formally introduced to the MySQL stuff when you try to compile the app, and select Install Package MySQL Data. Find and install latest version, which is rectangled below, and a screenshot is shown of that. With that, I bid you adieu, and see you next time on the next step in our journey. Until then,